Gospel, Not Gossip. I'm your host, Prophetess Tia, and on today's episode, I have my favorite daughter. You heard me, my favorite daughter. I can say that because she's my only daughter, that's right. But I have her with me in the studio today, and we are going to be talking about things that are relevant to their generation. Their generation. It is indeed a privilege and an honor for me to be here with my daughter, y'all. My girl is here with me. Yes. But before we go into the episode and the discussion, I am going to allow her the opportunity to tell you a little bit about her. So, Taylor, if you can, just tell the people, look, I didn't even tell y'all her name. Her name is Taylor. Yeah. Taylor, tell the people a little bit about who you are.
Well, first, my name is Ta'la Spates, and if you haven't realized by now, my spelling of my name is very, very different, and that describes me. I'm very different. I'm very unique. I have a very bubbly personality, and I always say, my name alone describes me. Different, outgoing, unique. You never meet another Ta'la Spates. I'm the only one you'll probably come across, but I am a senior, and I go to the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, where I am involved in so much, y'all. I run track. I've been running track since I was 7 years old, and I'm a nursing major with a minor in Spanish, so things are just very chaotic. If you're in nursing school, then you already know that alone is a lot, but being a student athlete on top of nursing school, that is just, it's a lot, but God is so good. God is just so good. He has brought me through. I'm about to graduate fall 23, so I am ready. Also, I am a part of the illustrious Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and I've crossed fall 21, and I have amazing line sisters. This sisterhood is just amazing. I love being a part of this sisterhood, just having a whole bunch of other women that are just strong, like-minded. So I really did appreciate everything that they have done for me, and just being a part of this organization is just amazing.
Yes. So you heard it. She runs track. She's in nursing school, but, she's an AKA. But there's one thing that she did not say that I am most proud of, and that is, y'all, while she's in school, she leads a Bible study.
Yes.
Yeah, a Bible study in her own apartment with her teammates and fellow peers. They come together, what is it, every Thursday?
Every Thursday, 7:30.
They come together at 7 o'clock. And she has some people even on Zoom or on these live streaming platforms, and they come together for young adults. And I am so excited about that because God is still using her even in that dimension, right? In her home, sharing the word of God, spreading the good news, right? Because she even carries that. It's the gospel. No gossip. Right there in her own home. And I'm so proud of that. God is so good. But you know what? Before we get into discussion, I want to talk about something that she said. I want to bring attention to. She said that she is a part of a sorority. She's a part of AKA. That's what she is. Yeah. And there is a lot of talk in the Christian world about how you shouldn't be in a sorority or a fraternity if you are saved, if you are a Christian. And we're going to be getting into the discussion on her peers and their beliefs and how they process things in the Christian world nowadays. So this is a good way to start that discussion off with, I believe, about being in a sorority. How do you feel? Does it not apply to you? Does it apply to you? Do you feel like, hey, listen, I'm in a sorority, but I still love God?
Most definitely.
So look, it don't apply to me. Look, I love God. I'm in this sorority. But explain that. Just talk about that a little bit. How did those two go together in your life?
Most definitely. Like I mentioned before, it's a sisterhood. You're surrounded by people with like minds. You're surrounded by women with the same goals, same motivation as you. So it's a sisterhood. We focus on sisterhood, scholarship, and service. Yes. All three things are ways that you can come across people and meet new people. So for me, being a Christian in this organization, my mindset is always, what am I doing when I'm meeting these new people? Am I spreading the gospel? Am I letting the organization make me and make me turn into a new person? Who am I? I am the same person that I was before I joined this organization, and I'm the same person now that I am in this organization. But my thing is, I always say, people that come to me and they're like, oh, you're an AKA, oh, you going to hell. And I'm like, well, who are we to pass that judgment? The only person that can judge is God. It's also like, people saying, oh, you joined this organization, you don't put God first, which is the complete opposite of that. You have to ask yourself, what did you join for? Why did you join? Correct. Did you join because you thought the organization was going to give you status? Did you join because you thought the organization was going to make your name known? It was going to give you just this different personality? And if you join for that, that's the wrong reason, of course. But but you have to find what is the reason that you join for. And my line sisters and I, we're all saved. We all go to church together. We just had our Founders Day back in January, and everyone came to my church in Lafayette. We praised together. One of my testimony on how I completely changed my life around was centered around my line sisters. Wow. We all went to. It was centered around your sorority. Around my sorority. Wow. My sorority. Me and my line sisters, not to go too much into details with it, but me and my line sisters, we all went to go see a movie. We just were going to see a movie. Me and a couple of my line sisters, and that day changed everything. Our lives were changed completely. We stopped in the middle of Perkins Row. I'm not sure if anybody knows where that's at, but that is this big movie theater in Baton Rouge. It's a beautiful scenery outside. It's just no place for, really for gospel to be spread. It's a place where, families come, they go watch a movie. You don't think that you're going to catch a group of young individuals all holding hands praying together. You know what I'm saying? It's just about what do you do once you're in the sorority? What are you doing? And I always tell people, you can idolize anything. Yes. You can idolize it. When you start idolizing it, that's when it becomes the problem. When you start making it be who you are, that's when it becomes the problem.
Then it gets to your heart. It gets and God searches the heart of man.
Right.
And so you don't let that overtake you of who you are. Your first love is Christ.
Most definitely.
You love your line sisters.
Right.
But your first love is Christ.
Yes. Yes. If it came down to it, it's Jesus. I'm choosing him. If it came down to it, Jesus on my sorority, it's Jesus all the way, and I have no problem saying that at all.
He's the keeper.
Exactly.
He's the one that keeps you. See, this generation, and I'm so glad that you are here with me discussing this. So, I understand that it's just her. It's just Ta'la that we're talking to. No, she doesn't speak for everybody, but she is the most closer to that generation than me, right? So she's the one I can put my hand on that's in the world that can discuss these topics. And so the thing that we're going to be talking about today is how this generation sees Christianity. If they do see Christianity, how do they see religion? If they do see religion, and what is their relationship with Christ like? What is it that they thrive and strive for in this generation? With us coming up in my generation, my age, the 40 plus club, I'm just going to say that, the 40 plus club.
You still look good, Mom. You still look good.
Thank you. The 40 plus club. When we grew up, it was the big church where it was the assembly. It was the physical assembly. You didn't do much assembly in your homes. You definitely didn't do anything virtually. It was in the physical church, right? Whether it was a choir in concert, whether it was communion, whether it was a baptism, anything, it was the church. So everything with our generation pretty much centered around the function of the physical church. We've switched a lot. A lot has changed, and in order to ride that wave, and be with the times, you got to ride the wave right? You can't ride the wave all the way to shore and get off. When the wave is about to come in and crash, you have to get off it and go find another wave and ride that wave. So the wave that is turning right now with this generation. Come on, it's not about religion. It's not about systems, right? None of that. Y'all look, I know that we just getting started. And it is really, really, really good. It's getting good. I want you, before we dive in and go all the way, go and get your pens, get your papers. Go ahead and text or call your teenagers, your young adults. Tell them, hey, look, y'all need to tune in to this episode because I promise it is going to bless you. It's going to bless your soul. But before we do that, I want to allow that time. Go ahead and get it. Before we get into the discussion, go get your pen. Go get your paper. Go get all of that because we are about to dive in. So let's go. Come on, Ta'la. Let's lead us in this discussion. Where we going?
Yeah, well, I think one main scripture that if you had to say what is the youth talking about, how do we feel? I think it would be 2 Corinthians 3:17.
Let's go to it. 2 Corinthians 3:17. 3:17. And it reads, this is a very familiar passage of scripture. It says, "Now the Lord is that Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty." Come on now. Now the Lord is that Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. What your peers have to say about this?
You know, in some translations they say liberty. Some translations says freedom.
That's it.
So for us, you know, structure is good, order is good, but we want to go somewhere where we feel like we can go there and experience God for real have the liberty to just praise Him, to worship Him without feeling like we're being judged, without feeling like we're being attacked, without feeling like we're being watched because we're young. Certain people think that, you have to be a certain age to really encounter Jesus. You have to be a certain age to really be able to experience His love, His mercy, His presence. And that's not true at all. That's not true at all. So a lot of us, we're shifting more towards the churches that are, you walk into it, you can just feel the freedom in the atmosphere. You can just feel the liberty in the atmosphere. Yes.
You want to experience God, to develop, like once you sense God, once you experience God, now it puts you in a position to where now you develop that relationship.
The relationship. That is the biggest thing. Because we break it down like this. This is how we break it down. My young people out there. How would you feel if your boyfriend, your girlfriend texted you once a month? Talk to you on the phone once a week, only called you when they wanted something, only texting you whenever they need you to do something. How would you feel? That's not a relationship. And I kind of got convicted because before my walk with God, I was just going through the motions. I'm reading my Bible once a month, once a week, praying to God when I need Him to come through for a test, praying when I need Him to come through for a track meet. That's not a relationship. A relationship develops over time. You have to get to know the person. You got to get to know your boyfriend, your girlfriend. How do you get to know somebody? Talking to them every day. Spending that time. And it's not all about just reading your word every day, because you can read your word every day, but it's about what are you doing to develop that relationship. So are you reading your word? Are you praising Him? Are you just taking time to just worship Him? Are you just having conversations? Sometimes I'm driving and I'm like, God, look, let me just tell you about today. Today just been whooping my butt. I'm tired. You just have to have that relationship with God. It's not about the can you go to church and can you quote these scriptures left and right. We not the best Bible scholars, because yes, wisdom come with age. We're still living, we're still learning, but it's all about that relationship. Do I know Him? Do I love Him? And when you have that relationship with somebody, it's going to make you want to do differently. When you love your husband, you love your wife, you love your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever the case may be. When you love somebody truly, you're not going to want to do wrong by them. You're going to want to always stay on their good side. And that's how it is. When you love God, when you have that relationship with Him, you're not going to want to sin. You're not going to want to go against Him. You're not going to want to go out and put a shame to His name. You're His ambassador. You don't want to put shame to Him. So it's all about that relationship.
So you say one that you walk in, when you walk in, you feel the presence. It's inviting.
Yes.
It's cultivating. It catches your attention. You feel God. You sense God. And it does all of that for you all to develop a relationship. It makes you kind of like say, I've experienced this and I want to experience it again.
Yeah.
So because I want to experience it again, I go back. I want to. It's like the drug addict that keep getting a hit, and they keep wanting to go get another hit because they like what they felt in that first hit. So you keep going back. So it draws you back.
Yeah.
But now let me ask you this: once you are in a fellowship, all right, a church, say, an organized assembly is always what we were saying. Once that. What do you look for? Do your generation look for things that kind of like focus on your age group? You know what I'm saying? Is that a big piece of your choosing where to fellowship with?
Yeah, most definitely. Focusing more so on things that we can relate to. You know, it's certain things I'm not married. I don't have kids. It's certain things that, you know, just don't move me the same as those messages that's focused towards, you know, staying pure, you know, keeping a good head on my shoulder, following Jesus when times get rough, whenever all my friends out drinking, smoking, partying, but what am I going to do? Focusing on messages that are centered towards things that we can relate to, you know, and then also focusing on churches that are in the community. They're getting in the community. You know, these churches, when they have these youths, they should be ahead of the game, honestly, because, you know, in my mind would be, I got all these young folks, let's go out in the community. I got these young folks that can stand in the sun for long hours, that can go run, that can do this, you know. So it's like, we're young, use us, you know. We want to be in the community. We want to do the outreaches. You know, a good example is the church that I attend at school, and I'm so grateful because a lot of young adults, they go to college and they don't go to church because they're like, I can't find a church home. But I am so grateful for my church home. I've been going there all 4 years that I have been in school, and I am so grateful because what we do is we get out in the community. We do food drives where we go to the actual superstores and go out there and buy the groceries, help people fill up their baskets, give out gas.
That's right. Your church in Lafayette, very good friends of ours, Pastor Daniel and Lady Sharon Kelly, the Harvest Center Church. Y'all look, they very good leaders. They're very good leaders located right there in Lafayette, Louisiana. If you're looking for somewhere to go fellowship with, what time is the services are at? 11, right? 11 o'clock a.m. Look, y'all, I want to say it's 903
East Simcoe Street, 903 East Simcoe Street.
Go ahead, go pay them a visit. Let them know when you get there, tell them, say, hey, look, I found out about your church on the Gospel Not Gossip. Tell them Prophetess Tia sent you, and I promise you they'll take care of you. It's a good church home. It's very important that your peers, when they walk into a church, when we're talking about the physical church, we're going to shift now and talk about how y'all relate with religion. But it's very important that when they come into an assembly, they are looking for a place that is inviting, a place where they can sense God, a place where they feel God move, a place that offers some type of ministry for you that you can feel a part, and where the teaching, where you can, you can relate. You're looking for something that is relatable. You know, I love it. That's what it is. I told y'all, look, this generation, we're reaching you today. We're talking about what it is that you're looking for. We want to make sure that our youth, our young adults, our peers, we don't want to leave them. We don't want to forget about them. Us old heads, we get so stuck in our ways and stuck in our traditions, but it's not about us. It's not about us. No, it is about preparing you the way of the Lord's return. He says in his word, if he be lifted up, he'll draw all men to him. And we want to lift up Christ to draw all men. We want everybody to be drawn to him. Young, old, everybody be drawn into God, into Christ. This is good. This is good. If you're just tuning in and you maybe missed what we were talking about, the main thing that we talked about was 2 Corinthians 3:17. And it reads, now the Lord is that Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. I like this scripture because it says, now the Lord is that Spirit. You know, we leave that out a lot. We talk about where the Spirit of the Lord is liberty, but nobody leaves. We don't really talk about, now the Lord is that Spirit. It's that Spirit. It's that Spirit that we chase. It's that Spirit that we pursue. The Spirit of the living God. That Spirit, there is liberty. See, a lot of times we want to act like it's liberty, but it ain't following under that Spirit, not the Spirit of God. We might follow under the spirit of our pastor or something like that, but it's not that Spirit. That word say, now the Lord is that Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. What she's been sharing with us is that this generation, they looking for the liberty. They want to be able to flow in God as who God have created them to be. Now, they understand that it's still a sin nature and all of that. They understand that some things, you still got to live according to the scriptures, right? We're not talking about the generation that feel like, hey, I can do whatever. God loves me for whoever, however I want to be, whatever. No. still operating under the principles of God, right? So it brings me to the next topic. When I say the principles of God, a lot of people think religion is a principle of God, and it's strictly a system. That's all it is, just systems in place, and it so many systems have broken people. You know, it has shattered a lot of folks that make them just walk away from God and never want to come to him again. How does your generation, how do you all adapt or deal with religion?
You know, if you go follow me on Instagram and you look at my bio, the first thing in my bio caption, it says relationship over religion.
Come on.
I'm going to choose that relationship over religion because people are religious.
Come on.
And they're in the church and they're following the system, but there's people that are going to be left behind that is in that church following the religion, following the system. It's not the system that's going to get you in heaven. It's not the system that's going to save my soul. It's going to be that relationship with God. It's going to be saying, am I really saved? You know, my salvation. And my salvation doesn't come from religion. My salvation comes from Jesus, you know? So we look at it as though this is something that, you know, most of us have grown up in the church. We have been around that religion. We're tired. We're tired of it. We're tired of it.
The old folks tired of it.
Tired of
the
it.
young folks tired of it.
And you know, I'm pretty young. I'm 21 years old, and you know, I haven't been living as long as the older people that are in the church. They've been in their walk in Christ longer than I've been born. But you know, it's just some things that just will not work for us. You know, and feeling as though we can't come into a church because of something that we have on or the way that we're dressed or just anything, you know, that isn't okay. My pastor, when we first started going to the church, we would do Bible studies with him before we shifted and started doing them by ourselves. And he gave a testimony, and I'm sure he'll be okay with me sharing. He gave it at church. He said, you know, there was a point in time where he was out partying in the club on Saturday, but he was right back at church on Sunday, you know, and we have to be in an environment where that is okay, because you want to draw those people, because once you come into the presence and experience the freedom, experience that spirit where there's freedom and liberty in it, you know, and you have that relationship, you're not going to want to go back to your old ways. You're not going to want to. Once you starve that flesh, once that flesh is dehydrated, it's not going to want to, you can't feed it no more. It's going to die off, you know? So that's the whole goal, finding somewhere where we're not focused on that system. We're focused on saving your soul. You know, we're trying to get you into heaven. We're not worried about if you're going to dress the proper way, if you got on the dress, the hats, you know, the gloves. We don't care about none of that.
Oh God. And the ladies, we can only wear our long dresses. You know, we can't wear pants, anything like that. Y'all not looking for that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But these are the ones that the Word of God says in the last days, He's going to pour His Spirit out amongst all flesh, and your sons and your daughters will prophesy.
Right.
That's word. He's going to pour His Spirit out amongst these ones that are saying, hey, we're saying no to religion.
Yeah.
We're saying no to systems.
Yeah.
We want God. We want Jesus. And we want everything that He has for us. I want to be able to be His instrument fully for the world to see.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes,
come on.
Most definitely.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Come on, take us. Where else we going?
You know, talking about, you know, having that sin and having that sin nature that everyone has, that brings me to Ephesians 2 and 3. You know, if you want to go to that, pull that up for us, Mama.
Ephesians 2 and 3. And it says, among whom also we all had our conversations in times past in the lust of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and were by nature the children of wrath, even as others. But God, who is rich in mercy, for His grace, love, wherewith He loved us, even when we were dead in sin, had quickened us together with Christ. By grace we are saved.
Yeah. He didn't say some people. He said all.
And by grace we are saved, not by what you wear.
Right.
Come on.
By grace. His grace and mercy. You know, and so for us, you know, when we walk into a church and we feel like, you know, we're being judged for what we have on and stuff, and it's just like, who are we to make judgment on somebody like that?
We all had our conversation.
You know?
That's what it says.
Yeah.
We all had our conversation in time past about lust of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of our flesh. That's why I like that. We can't judge. We can't point the finger.
Right.
We can't say that I'm better than you because I've been saved now and I haven't done that, but you did. You had your conversations about it. Yes.
Yeah, most
Whether
definitely.
that conversation was Christ, God, look, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We've all had that conversation.
Right. And that brings me to Matthew 7.
Ooh, let's go
Matthew
again.
7 and 2. Or you can start at 1, read the whole thing.
Matthew 7. Judge not, that ye may not be judged.
Yeah.
Let me read that one more time. Just one more time. Judge not, that ye may not be judged. My God. For with what judgment ye judged, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you again. Look, judge not, that ye may not be judged. Look, why would you want to judge somebody? We're not the judge.
Right.
We're not the one that look, I don't have a heaven or a hell to put anybody in. And God, the word that I read said God searches the heart of a man.
Right.
I remember seeing on TV there was a man that had tattoos all over him.
Right.
But y'all was spreading the news and had gotten so many people saved. He was all out on the streets.
Yeah.
But if you looked at him from your natural eye, you would have thought that he was some type of gangster, some type of murderer, or something like that. We can't pass judgment on people just by what we see with our naked eye.
Right.
That's not what it is. This generation, they looking for a place that's going to receive them.
Yeah.
You know, going to accept them how Christ accepts them.
Yeah.
And allow them to be who God has created them to be.
Because, you know, the example that you gave, the man on the outside, his physical appearance was one way, but on the inside, he was full of the word, full of the knowledge of God, and he was spreading the gospel. And that's what it's all about. You know, the Great Commission, he wants us to go out and spread his word. That's exactly what this young generation, that's what we're doing. You know, we have the social media. Y'all didn't have that growing up. Y'all didn't have the TikTok, the Instagram. Y'all didn't have that growing up, the YouTube. So it's like, you know, when you get this platform, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? We're young. How are we going to reach other young folks? How are we going to reach the other young generations to be on fire for Jesus?
We are here every Sunday. Same place, same time. Listen, always remember this. If you never remember anything else, always remember this. Remember this. We love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. And ain't nothing you can do about it. Be blessed.